Good morning and welcome to the County of Berrien. It's a pleasure to have you all here today as we conduct the business of the county. Just as a reminder, please silence or turn off all electronic devices during the duration of the meeting. Any materials that you wish to have distributed to the board, please do so by giving it to our Sergeant of Arms, which is Commissioner Jim Kern, here on the end. And then if you wish to address the board, please do so during the appropriate times in our agenda by going to the podium, stating your name, jurisdiction, and you have 2 minutes to speak with the board at that point in time. At this point, we're going to go to our invocation, which will be led by Commissioner Jim Kern, followed by the pledge, Commissioner Julie Werfel. Please join with us if you wish.
Thank you. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we commit this meeting to you. Come and reveal your will in every aspect of our life. As we discuss the affairs of Berrien County, we ask for your will to be done. Show us your purposes, enlighten us that we may know how you want us to accomplish our tasks. We desire your glory and blessing in all we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions toward the right path and help us stay on track. Let your will be done as we plan and make decisions. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both for leading us in both of those items. We come to the point of the agenda for roll call. Madam Clerk?
Bell,
Here.
Curran,
Here.
Harrison,
Here.
Hinkleman,
Here.
Majerick,
Here.
Ott,
Here.
Pitchford,
Here.
Ballraff,
Over here.
Werfel,
Here.
Yarborough, Elliott, Freeling.
Present.
Madam Chair, you have 10 present, 2 absent.
We have a quorum. All right, moving on to the next item on the agenda, approval of the January 4th meeting minutes. Everybody receive those? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Commissioner Pitchford, supported by Commissioner Bell. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Minutes are approved. Communications.
You received 1 email letter from Lady Monica Bacon of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church celebrating their 175th anniversary on Sunday, March 24th, received on January 5th. That's all.
Everyone received that communication? Yes, Commissioner Kern.
Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna put something together, Brian?
Is there a desire to have a resolution just honoring them?
I would think so, yeah.
175 years, sure.
What do you need from us to make that move forward?
So Annette, are you willing to describe the adopted policy for resolutions? Honorary resolutions?
Are we gonna follow that? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
We'd like to.
Yeah, there's a form that has to be completed and then I'd have to take it to the parent committee. In this situation, there really wouldn't be one. And so by default,
I don't believe it asked for a resolution, it asked for a letter. Correct?
I'll pull it up. I still have it.
I don't think we need to do a formal resolution. I think they were looking for some sort of a letter from us or some. I suppose a resolution would probably be the most appropriate.
That would be our
What?
typical process.
So we need to go through that process.
yeah, so I didn't read the communication, I'll be
Clerk
honest.
actually has
So,
the letter pulled up right now. so-
Okay, the letter says we are requesting any message from your office be received no later than February 20th in order to be included in the souvenir journal. So that's what they're looking for.
Jim, do you want to volunteer to request the resolution? Okay.
Alright.
I'll get the proper paperwork in order. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is public comments regarding resolutions, including those added resolutions that we have on the consent calendar. If there are any public comments at this point in time for those resolutions, please come to the podium, state your name, and address the board.
Counselor Hager,
You know, I think you're opening up a new can of worms here with honor resolutions. You know, I got a birthday coming up here in a few months. I want one too. How about that? No. No, I'm serious, you know. You start doing that and everybody wants one. But anyway, I want to talk about this resolution 115 about the gas mileage and mileage.
Mhm.
Now, but I'd like to see, like here, it increased to 67 cents per mile. What was it last year? What was the old one? You got to put that in there too, so we have some idea. What was it? But the 25 cents a mile, and all of a sudden you're jacking up to 67. We have no idea. Or at the bottom where it says the breakfast, 13 bucks. What was it, 10 bucks before? You just put that in there, okay? So I don't have to complain about it. The public has the right to know, okay? Thank you.
Thank you for comments, Mr. Peltzer. Are there any other public comments at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll close that portion of the agenda. And at this point, then I would be looking to the board for a motion for the consent calendar, including the 3 added resolutions listed on the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
All right, I think Volrath had you beat. So Commissioner Volrath will make the motion. The support will be from Commissioner Pitchford. It's kind of like making calls at a football game, right? Yeah, that's close. Throw a red flag. All right, any discussion on those items? Hearing none. Roll call.
Curran,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Hot,
Yes.
Pitchford,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes,
Madam Chair, you have 10 yeas.
thank you. The consent calendar and those resolutions have been approved. Just to kind of answer the questions that did arise from public comments, I do believe we discussed it in finance for the resolution on mileage rate. It's based on what the federal rates are set at, so you can find that through those documentations, but I believe last year was 65 cents.
0.5.
65.5. And then the mill reimbursement has stayed the same since we approved it of last year. So what you see in the resolution is what we had approved through new policy as of 2023. Just for point of clarification for the board and for the general public. All right, we move on to the next point of committee reports, and we will start with administration.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. First in to see us was Sheriff Chuck Height and his trio of Greg Sanders, Under Sheriff, and Sean Seward as Chief Deputy. And everyone has received a copy of the sheriff's report electronically, but the report out on the sheriff's department from this morning will be Commissioner Volrath.
Well, they gave half my report, so. Like you said, you should have gotten the report in your email. It'll look a lot like Sheriff Bailey's at this point, but he introduced Greg and Sanders as our new undersheriff and Sean Soulard as our new chief deputy. And they all did a fine job reporting to us this morning. The medical services, which was new, and we approved that just about a month ago, and they've been in there for 11 days now, and he says everything is looking good. Chuck reported that to us in our committee of the whole this morning, and also in our meeting said that everything is, that they expected to change a little bit for the better so far has looked good. So they are happy with that. The food costs that, are still high. We're still serving between 31 and 34,000 meals a month. So kudos to our staff and everyone at the, in the kitchen who have to prepare those meals every day after day for all the inmates, and they do a great job balancing that budget. There were 61 Noxalone kits distributed in November from the vending machine at the jail. So that's a good thing, I suppose, because they help people from overdosing once they get back out on the streets, and if they continue their drug use, then That's a way to stay alive, I guess. Niles Township still leads the way in calls for service every month, but they did add 3 officers last year with a millage, and that's working out really well. Able to handle the calls a lot easier and quicker than before, and is a very positive thing to have the new officers out there. We've got 3 new full-time jail deputies, Brian Elkins, Hunter Kirk, and Andrew Pliley, along with 1 part-time support services deputy, Jeffrey Harden. There's some other pictures of all the things Kelly Lash and some honors and awards that are in here. So take the time to look through the report. It's very well done and written, and that's my report.
Thank you, Dave. The only other thing I would like to note on that is, if you noticed, we all received an email where Greg Sanders graduated from the FBI National Academy. That's kind of a big deal. That's kind of held for the higher command officers in an organization, and it's quite an accomplishment. So since Greg was in there this morning, we congratulated him on that. After the sheriff was in to see us, Mark from the road department was in to see us, and Commissioner Werfel would like to report on that.
Thank you. The road department is already, the equipment is all ready, and as Mark put on here, standing ready for employment. So, and it's starting a little bit this morning. They are out and about, and they are ready for this weekend as well, the snow event. In fact, on his report, you can see he gave us a weather update. So it was cute. Anyway, he has, they've filled the mechanic position. His new administrative assistant position has been filled. That person is starting next week. And then they still have some project engineer position vacancies that they're still working on. 21 of the 22 townships are in concurrence with the 24 road plans. The last one they just met with, so that should be taken care of in the next week or so. So all of the road improvement plans for 2024 are in place. That's my report.
Thank you, Julie. After Mark was Scott Sanford, our public defender from the public defender's office. They need some space over in the building, so he basically came to us for our approval, and then I believe it's going to go to finance for them to approve the actual resolution for their staff and for their expansion. After Mark, Brian and Marcy came in to see us and talked to us about Michigan Infrastructure Office, and I will defer to Brian on exactly the details of what they were informing us of.
Yeah, so Marcy brought to our attention the Michigan Infrastructure Office, or MIO. MIO is an office that was set up under the governor's office to provide assistance with the rollout of infrastructure. In this case, the reason that it was brought to the county's attention was MIO was offering technical assistance funds or services for the trail building efforts being led by the Friends of Berrien County Trails. So Marcy has put in the request for the technical assistance program. If we receive that, it would then likely lead to design services. It would also then put us in the running for funding to assist with construction of the trails. Marcy described that it really was a rush to get the application in. She returned to work on Friday. The application was due on Monday. They were originally planning to run it through the Friends of Berrien County Trails. They realized MIO would not accept that. They tried to run it through the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. MIO wouldn't accept that. And so ultimately, she called me and I agreed that it was due on Monday. It was Monday. The only option was to run it through on behalf of Berrien County. So that's what she's done. The admin committee, after a lengthy conversation, agreed that to keep this as clean as possible, we'll put together an A resolution for the committee's consideration that would provide essentially retro approval for that submission. The thing that I would stress is there's no out of pocket to the county. There is no local match on this request. But if the award is granted, it then puts us into the running for other funds. So it's one that to keep it as clean as possible, it makes sense to do the authorizing resolution, knowing that other authorizing resolutions could come if this effort is successful. Jim, does that summarize the situation?
It does. Thank
Okay.
you, Brian.
Yep.
Appreciate that. The last thing we talked about that will come to the full board is a resolution honoring the Michigan Wolverines on their national championship. Our admin committee was more than honored to present such a resolution, so it will be forthcoming. All right, we do have some resolutions the next time we get together. Resolution ending in 110. This is to apply for a grant through the MMRA, which is our insurance carrier, for $50,000 to offset the cost of the scanner for the sheriff's department at the jail. Resolution ending in 111. This is from the Berrien County Trial Court Family Division to enter into an agreement with Ottawa County for their juvenile detention center RISE program. It is primarily for females, and Ottawa County has the facility to handle those females. Resolution ending in 112. Every year, we approve the road bios for the road department for Act 51. Primary roads, 484.88 miles. Local county roads, 993.89 miles for a total of 1,478.77 miles. So that resolution is to provide that to the state. Resolution ending in 113. This is to accept a speed study that was done on Miami Road and May Street in St. Joe Township, establishing the speed at 35 miles per hour. And that is our report.
Thank you for the work that you do in your committee, and I appreciate the report. Moving on to Finance Committee, unless there's questions for admin, pardon me. Any questions for admin committee? All right, then moving on to Finance, John.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We visited with our administrator, got caught up on current events today. We next spoke with Christopher Quatron. You remember in the committee of the whole meeting this morning, we had some questions. Terry spread the question on about an additional $100,000 in the requisition for legal costs. And it was explained to us. And what it really boils down to is that there were originally targeted for about 350,000 in legal costs. This 100,000 is an additional to that, bringing it to 450,000. And the cost probably won't stop there at this point in time. The legal battle is with Eagle concerning a drain that was called the Tanner Creek Drain, I believe it was, for keeping water away from infrastructure. And so there's a difference of opinion, and the courts will decide. And the hope is through the drain office that there will be reimbursement for legal costs. And that's his hope at this point in time. So we got that clarification. Next, Dan Fetty came in, and there are some resolutions that are, resolutions that are going to be headed the board's way next week. One ends in 16, and it'll be the request for funding for Berrien Bus. If you look that resolution over, you'll see that it'll come in at about $150,000 budget deficit to itself. And there's a reason for that. It's actually thought that operationally they'll fall almost even, but it is the budget is trying to be very conservative in the fact that it's conservative in how much revenue it'll bring in, and also in how much money it will spend. And so at the end of the day, they think it'll fall about right. But when you see that resolution, you'll see it'll come in at an operating deficit, but both the income should be more and our operating expenses should be less than that. So that's what you'll see next week when it comes through. Resolution ending in 17 is a contract for the Sacred Heart Rehabilitation Center, and all it is a contract for a new client, if you will, that operates out of the Bill Berrien General Facility. And so that'll be coming to you next week. Resolution number 18 ends in 18 is for a renewal of the maintenance agreement for the Berrien buses. And it's a renewal. We do that now with Cass County. And rather than the other provider that we had, we saved about $100,000 last year. And so it's been a very good agreement to have. And so it'll be a renewal for the maintenance agreement that we have for that. So those resolutions will be coming to you. There will be some additional resolutions coming to you that will move through committee next week and the board the same day. And they are simply, there's one for meter public funds that the treasurer is getting help from meter. And there'll be a contract. The reason it'll be coming through all at the same time is because legal has to work through the contract for meter. And so we'll see that next week. And it will be for advice on how to invest funds to maximize as much as we can with our interest rates on through the treasurer's office. So that'll come through committee and the board the same day. In addition to that, there will be the social work for juvenile cases from Leslie Steinberger, and that's for indigent defense. That contract will come through on the same day. Same thing will happen. It'll be approved, but it came through today as to us for discussion, and but it'll come through the same day next week. In addition to that, Jim, you mentioned the public defender's office. That's going to come through on the same day as far as the actual billing for that. It'll be about a $70,000 bill, and that'll come through the same day tomorrow. So or next week, it'll all come through at the same time. Let's see, what else do we have? The other things that we approved that came through the truck and trailer specialties, we approved just for single source. We approved lift gates for garage pickup trucks, and the amount of was budgeted for $20,000. The waiver amount came through at a little over $21,000 for those. AIS Construction for 2 Bronco Broom vehicles, and that's for $220,000. That was the budgeted amount. The waiver amount that came through was for $209,980, so it fell within what we needed. And then also 3 accentuators. Accentuators, for those of you, we didn't know what those were. Those are the signs that go out there that help with traffic control and offer more safety on the road. Initially, we were going to get one of those. The budgeted amount was for $80,000, and Mark was able to find 3 of them that were hardly used at all for $33,000 a piece. And so, no, for $33,000 total. So, excuse me, for $33,000 total. And so that was a good find. And then there was one more that came through for DCS Technologies. And that one, we'd like to get a little bit more clarification on that. And then that'll come through. We'll discuss that next week and then report out on it. It'll get reported out next week. And have I missed anything? Leonte, Terry? All right, that's our report. Thank you. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Julie, please.
Do you want to go first?
No, I don't have one.
I thought you said you had a question. The Tanner Creek, the drain are the Tanner Creek residents then, the drain residents that are in that, are they on the hook for these legal fees? It's going to go into their assessments if they don't get reimbursed through a settlement?
Now, keep in mind the way a drain project works. They start out with no money. The money that's spent on the project gets dispersed to the appropriately to apportioned out to the people that are part of that drain project. And so that's why the question came up. You know, we're concerned about the taxpayer spend. And what actually has occurred is that in the emergency, when they had to evacuate the water in emergency fashion, and they actually dipped, it sounded like they dipped the drain to get it to drain, to get the water away from the infrastructure, which needed to happen. Eagle has come back and challenged that now and said, you got to put it back the way it was. You're not allowed to clean that. It's a natural waterway and you're not allowed to clean it. And so it's an important debate. And yes, but to answer your question, whatever winds up happening will get assessed to those people on Tanner Creek. That's what'll happen. And so we hope that the outcome for that is gonna be better rather than worse, you know, so. Because the implications to that drain office are bigger than that if it doesn't, if they had to put it back, the way it existed, that'd be problematic for the balance of drains. So it's a question for the way drains are handled, you know, so. Somebody else have another question, Dave?
Any other questions?
No.
No other questions. We'll move on to personnel. Thank you for that report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We met this morning and had a couple actions that we took. One was the approval of a pension credited service buyback, not something that we see all that often. This is where an individual who had worked for us prior and then was rolled over their pension contributions and then separated from the county has now come back to work for us. And so they're basically buying back their pension contributions. So not something that we see all that often. We did approve our monthly pension refunds and rollovers and also approved an advanced step hire request from the friend of the court. We had the Candy come in from the health department. We talked about their strategic plan that was covered in the Herald Palladium today. They did not receive the violence grant that they had applied for to the state of Michigan. So that was not funded. It sounds like no one in Berrien County received that funding. And then she walked through the hiring and interviews that they have going on. So they've had some success in bringing new people into vacant positions. We did approve the per diems for December, and that is in the process now. We also had the privilege of having our administrator come in and talk with us. He covered the Cook evaluation issue, next steps in the opioid process. And then also we talked a bit about the road and how they work with the local units of government. So good meeting, and that concluded our actions.
Excellent. So are there any questions for personnel? Right, hearing none. Thank you for that report. We'll move on in the agenda for commissioner reports. And John, I'm going to start with you.
No report.
No report.
I attended the meetings of the Human Services Council and also the Health Board. Then participated in the Sheriff's Department fundraiser for the Polar Plunge. And then also I had 3 different meetings here regarding issues at the county.
I had the privilege of attending the Great State of Hager's board meeting this week. Number one, they passed a rental ordinance. It's kind of the start of a process for them where they're going to find and locate non-compliant rental units that are in the township not having gotten the correct permits to make sure that they're collecting all the fees that they're supposed to be collecting for Airbnbs, rental units, things of that nature. They simplified and codified some of their ordinances that were already on the books. They started a board of review process, reinstating their poverty guidelines and allowing for protest of taxes now by mail in Hager Township. I also attended the Sodus Township board meeting. They did their budget amendment review and passed a solar zoning ordinance, which set setbacks for where you could have ground mounted solar panels on your property. It has to be at least 30 feet away from other properties. So locks out some and then allows for other places to be able to have them. But I think it was important, especially for local units, to start to get those things on the books as solar is just starting to become more and more prevalent. They also had a conversation about millage renewal and the possibility for an increase without a firm resolution on that. And then for Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency, in December, we had our end of year kind of retreat and party. It was a great thing there, and starting back with that meeting coming up next week. So that is my report.
Marcy Hamilton was in this morning for the Committee of the Whole from Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, presenting this board with the Graham Woodhouse Award. At our meeting, our Southwest Michigan Planning Commission meeting, the other entities represented also received similar certificates. And there had to be at least a dozen different government and non-government entities involved in that whole project. So I just want everyone to know that all the other entities were recognized with a similar certificate. And that's my report.
Last week I had a meeting with our finance and general government up at MAC, and they give us a copy of this. I'll pass this around. It's just the state priorities. It's a capsulized version. It's not really in depth, but not a lot going on up there right now because they haven't worked in 2 months. So must be nice, but I'll just pass this along. And other than that, I just attended Monday night, sat in front of my TV and watched Michigan win the national championship, and I was still smiling the next day when I woke up.
Didn't change. I just have 3 words, national champs, hail.
I understand.
Anything, Sam?
No report, but Brownfield is today at 12:30.
The
Which room are you in?
Oh, Otto.
Yep.
auto grow, okay. And then for me, I attended the planning commission meeting for the county, pardon me. And we just had some text amendments for St. Joe Township, there we go. And then Bainbridge Township, they did some changing in their ordinance and wording as it relates to solar and setbacks, trying to update some of that information. And then we saw Township, that would be Max District, they updated their master plan. So that information, if you guys want any more information on it, can be either gotten through me, Katie, or through our community development website. You can find a lot of those links to any of the townships information through that way. Thank you for all the work that you do. The only other thing that I like to address is we actually have a local individual competing in Miss America this week. Maya Schutnick is from Buchanan, and she is our current Miss Michigan. And competition preliminary was last night, and I think competition for final is Sunday.
She does magic.
She does not do magic. She does speed painting, but it is magic the way she does it. To be able to paint a picture in 2 minutes, it's amazing. And I just wanted to make note of that because it's a huge accomplishment for her, so.
Can we, just real quick, something?
Yeah.
Just wanted to shout out that at the Michigan game, there was a Benton Harbor young man named Keyshawn Harris who plays for and was at the game and played.
Nice,
Oh, that's cool.
very cool.
Really cool individual.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
just for anyone that's interested, so we've done a flip-flop. So Brownfield is meeting downstairs in Otto Grau. BC Bit will meet upstairs in Ken Wenzel. And we've made that flip-flop, just we've added one of the data boards
Mhm.
to Ken Wenzel, so it'll make the Zoom attendance a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested, Brownfield downstairs, broadband upstairs. And those are both at 12:30.
and is that your report?
That's it. It's magic.
It was magic. I love it. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the work that you all do on behalf of the county. We now come to the part in our agenda for general public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board, to please come to the podium, state your name, and you have 2 minutes to speak with the board.
Counselor Hager. You did a good job Monday night. Ready. I'm talking about the Hager Township. I go over there too, you know, aggravate them too. Anyway, I want to say something about the new mayor of St. Joe. She was interviewed by, not her, but her Lewis, whatever. Anyway, they asked a bunch of questions. No, there's a big change over there, you know, somebody 38 years old or 36, maybe nobody wanted the job, I don't know, and put some new blood in there. But anyway, there was one of the things she answered was something about, what would you say to people who have a misconception, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, she said, this is what she answered. It's so much more than that, whatever. The way more than just sitting here. It's checking your emails, which you don't have, being kind to people and just listening. That's the word I want you to put in there, listening. I think probably the most important thing is just to be open and listen to people who have a concern or a question, because maybe I can't fix everything, but I can at least be a listening ear and hear people's concerns. And maybe eventually we can fix just attending, more than just attending a meeting. So that I kind of, she's gonna try, put it that way. So if, a couple of days ago, there's a picture right on the front page. So they got a new mayor over there and they're gonna, I suggest you go down there and take a look at their meeting place. It's not a classroom like this.
2 minutes, sir.
It's a real meeting place. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Peltzer. Are there any other public comments at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll close that portion of the agenda. Other business, is there any other business come before the board?
It's not really other business, but it came to our attention that a certain member in here has tickets to a Detroit Lions game. And I would just like to throw out that I am a Bears fan, but I would lower myself to go to a Detroit Lions game.
Duly noted, and I suppose that will be something that can be hashed out offline. Yes, go ahead.
If annual evaluations have already been turned in, I feel like you may have given away your bargaining chip.
Oh. Wow, okay. There's a question, comment.
Is there a formal process to censure a commissioner?
Yes.
We are going, there, yes, and we are going off the rails here. All right, well, with no other formal official business to come before, other business to come before the board, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is announcements and reminders. Just an announcement reminder that the county facilities will be closed next Monday, January 15th, in observation of Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day. With that, I guess we stand adjourned. Thank you. We'll see you next week.